Hello everyone, this is Daniel, aka B-Belt Dan, and I bring you outside today for this video. The sun is shining in my eyes, that's why I'm doing a lot of squinting. It's a little bit hot out here, but anyways, I'm out here because there was something I wanted to show you as part of this video. But let's see if I can try to keep this one short. But however, this is not going to be a one and done. This is going to be the first part of a series of episodes of a particular project that I'm doing. So let me get to that project. If y'all have clicked on this link, y'all already pretty much have a good idea what it is. But let me explain myself. In YouTube, we're always about, it's always about inspiration. Many of y'all have told me, and I really appreciate hearing from y'all, that there was something on my channel that has really kind of inspired you to go ahead and go out and try to do something. On the flip side of that is the same thing for me. I watch a lot of these YouTube videos, these content creators, and I see a lot of stuff out there that it actually kind of inspires me. And lately I've been watching a bunch of videos from a bunch of different YouTubers of where they've been kind of, how should I say, reliving their childhood life. Maybe there was something that they were hoping that they had when they were children, but they couldn't get because they didn't have the means, the funds, or what have you. But now they're much older, and now they have the means to do it. And I mean, there's some videos where I've seen where people have been Back to the Future fans, and now they, much older, they've now have a DeLorean, and they're changing it and turning it into their own time machine. Or they were Star Wars fans, and they always wanted their own R2-D2. Now they're making their own R2-D2. So I got inspired. And one of the YouTube channels, Retro Recipes, I guess the gentleman there, they're real big fans of Knight Rider. So was I. And on that channel, he has been making his own kit. First, he took a Tesla and he modified it into his own kit, KITT Tesla, I believe. And then he managed to find a replica of KITT. And he is trying to work on making that more and more real. And there's even the Knight Rider Historian channel where they actually have the actual KITT. They have the truck that he's driving in. Now that's something, those are things that I might not be able to probably do. But I could do the next best thing. And so that kind of inspired me. Me being a Knight Rider fan, I have decided that I'm going to turn my vehicle into a KITT. Yes. However, I don't have a black car. But what I do have is a black F-150 right here. Can we see it? There we go. That's what I have. I have a black F-150, and I'm going to turn that not into KITT, though, because KITT was a Trans Am or a Mustang, if you look at some of the earlier, the new reboots. However, if y'all were true Knight Rider fans, y'all probably know that there was a little show. It was called Team Knight Rider. And in Team Knight Rider, there was a F-150 in there. It was a black F-150. And I think its name was Beast. So I've decided that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn my truck right here into my very own Knight Industries 2000, or maybe now 3000 version of Beast. So got a lot of stuff to do. We're going to do some of that stuff in this video today, but let me go ahead and show you what I got to work with. Okay, so what I have here, as you can see, is a 2013 F-150. It is a STX trim. Now STX, it's not the lowest model, I believe, but it's kind of slightly up. I believe it's between the XL and the XLT model. Now, by default, what it comes with, it came with these rims, everything that you see here. I've gotten the extended cab, or the super, what is this called? Not quad cab. But it's not a full 4 doors. This door opens and this door opens this way. I mean, it's a very good truck. The engine inside it, I believe, is called a Trident, or not Trident. That was the old one. It has a 5.0 liter K.I.T.T. V8 engine inside it. When I also bought this, it had this cover on top of it, which several videos I've seen have said that this is a good addition for this. It's a soft cover. I mean, it covers the whole thing, so it helps improve aerodynamics so no air gets trapped inside the bed, but it gives it a nice little sleek look, and it just rolls up. So that's what this came with. Now everything else that I have done to it past that is me. Everything that's not stock is all me. So let me go ahead and show you a little bit of what I've done. So one of the things that I did do just recently was this vehicle by its default trim did not have a backup camera. So I did have a cheap old little backup camera that you could put down at the license plate down below. I'm not going to show you my license plate, but I didn't quite like that look. I wanted something that looked a little bit more hidden in stock. So I bought this piece right here, which has the backup camera installed into this right here. But I really like this. It kind of it's hidden in. It looks a little bit more cleaner, so I've installed the backup camera. The next thing that you would probably notice that I did, you saw this earlier, these are not the stock headlights. I went ahead and I got these headlights right here that have some additional LED accents, and it's a little bit of a darker look behind it. At night, this actually looks very good, and it helps distinguish my vehicle. There's several vehicles that look similar to mine here in town, but because I changed out these headlights, it makes it more distinguished. It makes it different. Everybody knows that it's my truck based on these headlights. So yeah, these really kind of give it a nice little look when you're driving down the road. Kind of a bit of a more modern look. All right, and last but not least is I went ahead and I've changed out the factory stereo with this Kenwood touchscreen model. It does have a DVD player installed that by default does not allow you to play or watch DVDs while you're driving. So and by changing this out, I had to change out this entire bezel, so this is a brand new bezel. One thing I liked about the original one was the texture of the original bezel, but they didn't have that, so I got this gloss black finish. I know it's kind of dusty. I probably need to clean up my vehicle, but yeah, those are the few things that I have changed, which to kind of make the truck a little bit my own. But at the same time, those were probably some of the first steps that I needed to take in order to get this thing to be, you know, kind of moving it towards, you know, making it more KITT-like. All right, everybody, so with that, that is basically the lowdown of the truck. I could go into a little bit more explanations of all the statistics and everything, but once again, if I want to try to keep this video short, I don't want to necessarily go much into that. If y'all have any specific questions, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll answer it there. So what all am I going to be doing to the truck? Well, first off, let us start with that front light. That famous sensor that we see in the front of KITT. That is the most distinguishable feature about KITT that distinguishes. Now, I know, if I remember correctly, in the Team Knight Rider, none of those vehicles had that. Well, this is going to be, of course, it's not the same model as Beast, so it can't be the actual Beast. It's going to be more of kind of like a re-envision of Beast, you might probably say, of the Knight Industries Beast mode, or Beast vehicle. So mine's going to have that light, so I'm going to install that light. But there's going to be a whole bunch of different things I'm going to be doing. Of course, I'm not going to be able, this video, all I'm going to be able to do is just kind of touch some of the basics, little pieces of it, but at least give you the idea of where I'm going with this. Said not only is it going to just look like it, but there's actually going to be some functionality. I'm hoping to get some functionality inside this vehicle that is going to make it more, a little bit true to the series. Okay, so here it is. I'm in front of my truck, and I'm thinking about putting the sensor bar in line right up along here with this top grill. I was planning on putting it down along the bottom right here, but I'm eventually going to get kind of a bull bar right here, and I'm afraid that it might cover that up. So I'm going to be moving it up a little bit higher. So let me show you how I'm going to mount it. So I'm going to be mounting it right about here. See this little center spot right here where this hitch is at, or this latch. So it's going to be right about in there. Actually, it's going to be going that direction because I have the wires that are going to be running out that way towards the battery. Now, to mount it, I'm thinking of utilizing some of this metal right here, because they already have the holes in them, and I'm going to mount it here and here and make a bracket that comes out here about maybe 2.5 inches, so we'll clear all of this and then come down, and it will be just in line to where I can then take this, attach it to those mounts on either side, there and there, and that should hold it hopefully sturdy enough, and it would also give me just enough clearance to where it will be free of this and of this. So let me go ahead and take some measurements and get those brackets done, and I'll be right back. So I have my brackets made up here. They're going to go right there, and the other one right there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these 2 bolts one at a time, hopefully not to mess with the alignment on this, and then take the light bar and I'm going to temporarily zip tie it across, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, and there it is, up and mounted. All right, so it may not be at its exact spot where I want it. I may have to level it. It's not exactly level. It may not be exactly there. That's why I have it zip tied at the moment right now, so I can move it. But this is just to kind of test it out, to see how it looks and how it works. I think it's going to work out pretty good. I did have to modify this bracket here because of this was in the way, but small little detail. So let me go ahead and get everything ran and test it out. I have the primary wire ran through all the way up to here, and this is the box that for right now controls the LEDs. I say right now because I may change this or modify it, and I have the 2 wires right here. So I'm going to, the goal is to move everything inside the truck to where I can control it in there. But for right now, just to see how it works out, I'm going to do some temporary wire to the positive battery terminal with a fuse and a switch, and this to ground, into ground chassis, just to see if everything works. So let me go ahead and do all that and see what happens. And when I be back, hopefully it'll be all working. So let's see. All right, so I have it connected here to positive. I have a fuse in line with it, and right now I have a 5 amp fuse inside. I think that should be plenty. Low enough to offer protection, but high enough to where I don't believe these LEDs are going to be pulling more than 5 amps. And we have this connection right here. That's this is a temporary splice. They're just 2 little, I forgot what they're called, but they're slide-in connectors, so I can slide it out and disconnect all of this, going to the box, and it's all tucked away somewhat neatly in here right now. Then coming out of it, I have this switch right here. The switch is, once again, only temporary. This is just all temporary, just to see how it looks and see if it works. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see what happens. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. That looks good. I like that. Okay, so what else would I like to do on this truck? A whole bunch of different things. I have a whole bunch of ideas. Now, I don't know how much of them are going to be practical. I don't know how much of them are going to be feasible. You know, how much of them is even going to be doable. I need to do a lot of investigation on this, and so I'm not going to really go too much into detail into this episode, besides just a few of the little things that is already inside the works. You know, as I get a little bit further into this and I'd be able to figure out more of what the limitations are of what I could do with this vehicle, then I'll be able to share that with you. And plus, there's also legalities behind it. I mean, I don't think I'd be able to make this vehicle drive by itself legally on the road like KITT can. I'm sure that there are some legal repercussions for that and some other things that I have to go through. So some of that stuff I'm not going to be able to do. There's going to be quite a bit of cosmetic work. Well, not terribly cosmetic, because the entire deal is that I want to be able to do it to the truck, but at the same time, if I sell this truck, I'm sure that somebody probably wouldn't want all these add-ons, so they're going to have to be cosmetic, but at the same time undoable and removable. So that's what I'm looking at. But say we got the lights. There's going to be some additional stuff that I'm going to be doing with the radio system, with the interior. There's going to be a secondary display that I'm going to be putting up, maybe even an overheads display with something shining up on the windshield. I don't think there's legalities behind it, but I want to take a look at that. Basically right now I'm just, my imagination is just running wild about what I could do, but I got to see what I can do. So once again, let me go ahead and kind of show you a little bit more of what I have planned. All right, everybody, so we're back inside the vehicle, and you're probably wondering why we're inside it. This is because we're to the next part of the video of the next part of the project of what I'm wanting to work on. And I apologize for this truck being dirty. Right now, where I'm at, it is hot, it is dry. I don't have grass no more. It's just basically dead grass and a bunch of dirt. So things get dirty real quick. But next video, I promise I want to have this clean. But what I'm wanting to do is, if you watch Knight Rider, you know that the car was very well aware of what was going on with itself. And in a way, if you don't know this, all vehicles, modern vehicles, are just like that. When you turn on your instruments, you turn on your vehicle, you have the instrument cluster here that not only tells you what your RPMs are, how fast you're going, how many miles you got, but it tells you a bunch of other data. Like here, it tells you my transmission temperature, how much fuel I have, my water pressure or my water temperature, my oil pressure. But there's also all these little lights that can also come on to tell me other things, including the infamous check engine light. The reason why is because these computers do have a computer, and that computer is pulling in a whole bunch of data from the vehicle, more data than you're probably even aware of. And some of that data is to help the vehicle drive better, because a lot of this is computer driven as far as the timing, fuel pressure, and all that other type of stuff, how much, where things are hitting, all that type of stuff is controlled by, fuel ratio, air to mixture fuel ratio. Everything's by the computer these days. So a lot of that data is picked up by the computer for that, but also to give you warnings. And these computers even will tell you what is wrong with the truck if the truck or the vehicle starts acting up. That's why they say, when you have a problem, take it to a mechanic or something like that, and they'll plug in their computer into it and read that data. Well, we can read that data too if you have the right tools. And because KITT was very aware of what was going on with him, I want Beast here to be able to do the exact same thing. So how am I going to do that? And that is with this little thing right here. This right here is a wireless Bluetooth OBD2 reader. This right here is if you ever taken it to a mechanic and see they plug in a computer and they're able to go through a bunch of menus to read like what the trouble code is, this right here is the small version of it. This is just connects to the computer and does a wireless serial connection over Bluetooth to a phone or a tablet that has an app on it that's able to read the codes. So I got this to plug into my computer. And so therefore, if you don't know where you plug that in, I'll go ahead and show you. And once again, I apologize for how dirty this is. But all vehicles are a little bit different. But this right here is the access port to your computer. So if I take this, I can plug it in right there. As you can see, the little light comes on. That means that it's receiving power. And if I have an app on my phone, which I do, I could be able to pull in and read a bunch of data. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, everybody. So I apologize for the sudden decrease if there is a decrease in the quality of the video, because I had to switch to a different camera in order to record this, because I've been recording everything on my phone. So this right here is the app. It's called Car Scanner that I am currently using for for access to this. And right now I do have it. It is connected to it. And so I have all of these things. So if I click on, let's say, dashboard here, it pulls up this dashboard right here. Let me go ahead and go to this one right here. Here's an interesting dashboard. Now, this right here just shows me everything that is up right there. But it shows me in a little bit more of a fancier little display. It shows me my engine RPMs. It'll show how fast that I'm going and my coolant temperature. But I can also move on to where here I'm looking at the voltage. So I'm seeing about how many voltages is on the OBD2, which from what I understand, that can also be used to let you know whether or not if your alternator is working, if the battery is charging, how much fuel is being used. Total, I think the last time I drove this vehicle, it told me that I used 0.54 gallons. I think it resets once it realizes that, I need to reset it. And this right here, it has a graph of the voltages that's going there. I did this because I was testing another vehicle using this exact same thing to see if I can, get this all figured out. And so I'm monitoring voltages. But there's a whole bunch of other things that you could do. If I tap twice, this right here gives me all the little options of what I could do. I could look at my short-term, long-term fuel trim, my timing advancement, air intake temperature, mass airflow sensor, throttle position, all of these things. This computer is actually gathering from my truck, and I can read all of this if I want. Now, I don't need to read all of this. Some of this stuff, I don't even know what it is, or it's not really important to me. But if I want to be able to read this, I want the vehicle to be able to know this, I need this OBD2 data. So how am I going to do that? Well, let me go ahead and explain that to you. Okay, so now I'm back to my other camera. Well, see, you don't have to have, from what I understand, is that there is tons of different programming languages out there, and almost every one of those programming languages out there have a library that you can use to be able to interface with that device down there. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a small computer system, which is going to be the brains of Beast here, and that computer will be connecting Bluetooth wirelessly to that OBD2 sensor and pulling in that data. Now, and then it'll be able to, once that data's in there, I could do whatever I want with it. I would really like to, to have it to where, I think I mentioned that it would be nice if I could have this vehicle talk to me, and it might get annoying once the nostalgia wears out, but I would like it to where, okay, if I'm driving down the road and it sees that my coolant temperature is raising too high, the vehicle would be able to tell me that, it's be able to tell me through a voice that water temperature is too high. Or if my RPMs are redlining, it'll tell me, hey, my RPMs are too high of a speed. Or if my voltage is dropping, you could say I'm losing power, all that type of stuff. I would like to actually get it to where it will do that, but I would also like to have it to where it would be graphical. I want not just only to where, you can hear things, but I want the interior to kind of look more technical, like there's something different, something special about this car. And that computer is going to be connected to, to a couple of displays. Not this display, even though I probably could because it has an audio video input, but that video input is currently being used for the backup camera. I'm going to think about putting in another display, right here. This right now is not being utilized like it used to be. So I don't think there's any problem if I cover this up and have a display right here, fixated into here, with some of this right here for wire access. Right here, I'll show more about that later, but that would be a touch screen display that I'd be able to interface with Beast, and that display would be able to show me all of that data that I'm able to get off of that OBD2 sensor that is right there, that little red light right there. So that's the plan. I do have the computer already, or the computer that I'm thinking about using. I don't have the display that I need to get. Once I get that, then I'll be able to probably work something out on that. But I think that from there, I think that is enough, and that will probably lead me on to the next part. Let's take a look at the computer that I'm going to be using that might become the brains of Beast. All right, everybody. Now I'm inside, and this here is what I'm going to be using primarily for the brains of the whole thing. It is a Raspberry Pi 3 plus B or 3B plus. So this, if you don't know what this is kind of like a little microcomputer. It has processor, it has RAM, it has Bluetooth, wireless, Ethernet port, USB ports, HDMI, all those type of things all put in together in a small little package. They also have I/O pins right here. Multi-purpose, configurable digital input, digital output pins, so you can control a bunch of things. You can also do serial connections and all sorts of stuff. Now, on top of this, I have what is called a relay hat. It's a 3-point relay hat. The reason why I have relay is because at max, the relays built into the Raspberry can handle 3.3 volts, maybe 5 volts. That's about it. I'm going to be looking at pushing, and controlling 12-volt signals. So whenever you're wanting to use a small signal to control a large signal, you have to use relays. So that's what this is right here. So I have here up on my screen here, this is what it looks like. By default, this is Pi OS. It's primarily what I'm going to be using. And the program that I'm going to be using is called Python. It's a very simple, object-oriented communication program. Now, this here is the program. Now, I used to be pretty good at Python, but haven't used it in like over a decade. So some of it has kind of whisked away. So I'm still learning on this. But I've got a very simple program written up right here, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but just to show you the proof in concept on how I'm going to be utilizing this with this. So if I run the program, the program just simply says, what mode do you need? Now, as I do this, imagine this being said to me over a speaker. So imagine a voice going, what do you need? Maybe not so rude, maybe something a little bit different, but, what mode do you need? And just for right now, let's say if I'm going to tell it, I want to activate beast mode. So, whoops. Hold up, oh, there it is. Okay, so I type in beast. And if I hit enter, now I don't know if you heard a click, but it comes back with affirmative, and it says, what do you need? And if we look here, there's a red light right here. That red light signifies that this relay is on. So if I have the red LED lights that operates the scanner plugged into here, they would be turned on by now. They would start moving back and forth, back and forth. And now if I type in, whoops, I think it's case sensitive, turn off, it says all systems off. Now, once again, imagine hearing this being said over speakers in a voice. It goes turn off, and if we look here, that red light is off, so that means the lights would be off. And there are also other options that would be plugged in. Like I said, I have one for hazards because I'm going to have different hazard lights, be able to be plugged in to this. So I say hazards, and lights, other lights will be coming on. And, when it comes to program, you're really limited to, well, one, the ability of the program, and also two, your imagination. So here I'm putting in a little bit of, logic, a little bit of intelligence in this. So if I go in to beast mode again, it says, what do you need? If I type in something it doesn't understand, it's going to be like, I don't know that state. I accidentally put it in where it will turn it off. But if I say beast, it says I am already in that mode. So it's smart enough in this program to where if I tell it to go into beast, it knows and remembers that it's already in beast mode. So it's going to tell me, well, I'm already in that mode. So let's try something else. It, once again, just, you have to imagine with the voice, or even with a display, the word showing up on the display, which is probably be the first step. That little display that I'll be having will have all of this show up in a display. And this voice and everything will become a little bit later. I know that, said Python, because it's object oriented, there are a lot of modules that you can download and plug into this and to use this. I know there's the OBD2 scanner module for this, and there is also a text to speech to where it would read this text out to me. There's even speech to text, so I can actually tell it to do something, and the program will write it out in a text form that the program can understand, so I can actually talk back and forth. But like I said, this all is very infantile at this moment. I'm still learning how to do this, how to program this, learning what's has come out there within the past 10 years, messing around. But I'm hoping that by the next time I have a video, to some degree, this module will be inside the truck and it'll be interfacing, and I'll be able to work back and forth. Now I'll have to have another secondary Raspberry Pi, which I already do, running a duplicate program so I can mess with this without touching the truck. And if I get something that, okay, hey, this works out, this is great, then I just download that to the updated program to the new truck, and the new truck should be going from there. So, and I'm also going to have to learn something I didn't do too much with Python, is HMI building, but that's all part of the learning. So that's what I got. All right, everybody. So that concludes this episode. Thank you for watching. I'm very excited about this episode, about this little project. I'm hoping to get a lot done, and I'm hoping it turns out very well. And I'm eager for y'all, and hoping that y'all would kind of enjoy me on this little trip. And I'd like to see what the finished product is. That I have an idea. I have the kind of the goal in mind of what I would like this to end up looking like. Whether if I get there or not, I don't know. We will see, and hopefully we will see there together. I will get more stuff done. As I said, I was hoping to get a lot more done in this episode, but there's just some stuff that that I'm waiting on. So until we get that all that in, and once I try to figure out exactly also what all needs to be done, how am I going to do it? Just like with the Raspberry Pi, I'm still trying to remember how to do the coding. I'm still trying to figure out what all I can do with that, what all it is capable of doing. So as I figure all that out, and as I get more stuff that I'm ordering coming in, this will start really kind of coming to fruition. But until the meantime, I think this is pretty cool that I got this up right now. Obviously, due to legalities, I can't drive down the road with it, but while it's parked somewhere, I think I can have it turned on. Yeah. So anyways, I want to just say, this is B-Bell Dan. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.